Hi guys, welcome back. Hope you're good. This week I thought what I would do would be like a little overview of some of the breakup books that I've read. Just in case you maybe don't have time to go through all the videos individually, this is just a little summary of them. So this week I thought what I would do would be like a little overview of some of the breakup books that I've read. Just in case you maybe don't have time to go through all the videos individually, this is just a little summary of them. Rosie's a lesbian. Statistically, women go through relationships more. So if two women are together, it means that they're just going to go through more relationships. So she says that she knows a thing or two about relationships. So it was just interesting looking at breakups from a different perspective. At the time of writing this book, she was in her 40s, and she talks about the struggles of being a lesbian in that time when she was in her fertile years and how that impacted her relationships as well. So it's just really interesting seeing things from that perspective. And I really enjoyed her positive outlook that being single is a really good opportunity for growth and personal development. It was just quite a light-hearted read, so that's number one. And the second book I want to talk about is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. Now this book I found a lot more relatable because she is similar ages to me, and there's a lot more millennial references, and she's a heterosexual, so I can just relate more to like sort of situations with dating guys and things like that. And it brought a lot of Sex and the City vibes, but not quite Sex and the City as we know it. It's more kind of grungier, sort of if you think about Sex and the City, but grungy student London, not very glam. And this is actually Dolly Alderton's memoir. And I didn't realise this until I was a good bit through the book. I actually thought this was just a fictional character, but it is actually her memoir. So it is very raw, and it's so full of anecdotes and analogies that I absolutely loved. I just thought it was such a beautiful read. There was so much on friendship, on just heartache, on self-awareness, on like the passage of time from your 20s to 30s, which can be like quite a daunting phase and an overwhelming phase as well. She talks about so much about like, when other friends are moving on or having babies and things like that, and sometimes you might feel like a little bit left behind, and there's just so much she goes into that I think as someone in their 30s you can feel it can be very relatable. And she talks about therapy in this as well, how she really benefited from therapy. I really felt this book was like a warm hug. It felt like just chatting to a girlfriend, and it was really easy to read. I would really recommend this book if you were just through a breakup but you didn't want anything too heavy. I did cry a lot having said that though, because it's her real life and real life events do happen. Like, it is quite sad at times, but it is actually a really lovely book. And on a side note, she has released another book called Good Material, which I've seen so many people reading and talking about and saying how amazing it was. Based on this book, I would really love to pick that book up. I really enjoyed her style of writing, and I think I would really enjoy Good Material. So if you've read it, let me know what you think in the comments. That will be on my to-read pile as well. And the third book I want to talk about is Ruby Kaur's Milk and Honey. Now this is actually poetry, and I've never read poetry before, and it was a really lovely introduction to poetry. It's a beautiful book with beautiful illustrations. It's such a nice, like, aesthetically pleasing book. So initially I listened to the Audible version of this, and I'd really recommend because it was only about an hour and her voice is like milk and honey, and she actually gives a little bit more background in the Audible version, just about like her history, like how she came to Canada, like she originally was from Punjab, and how that actually came about to her writing these books. Because she didn't speak the language, she would just like kind of do these sketches and write poetry to kind of like express herself. And it's just, I think the Audible is really worthwhile listening to as well. And I just thought this was a very cathartic and raw read. The book's split up into 4 different chapters which deal with a different sort of pain and heartache, and as you move through the book it kind of builds, and one of the chapters absolutely just leaves you pretty gutted if you have gone through a breakup, but it's just really raw. And it goes on to like another chapter called The Healing, which is just about resilience and sisterhood and empowerment, and it is just a very emotional book, but I think sometimes after a breakup it's quite good to get those emotions out as well. But it does leave you feeling very empowered afterwards, and I just thought it was very easy to read as well. Easy in the sense, like, you can like pick it up and read quite a chunk in like 10 minutes and get a lot from it in 10 minutes. If you're maybe feeling like you don't want to read too many like pages of a book, you know, if maybe your attention span's not there yet after a breakup sort of thing, this could maybe get you back into reading and into healing. I'd also recommend watching her TED Talk, I'm Taking My Body Back. It is such a good way to maybe get an introduction to if this would maybe be the sort of book for you, because it is very deep, it is very raw, but she expresses herself, I think, like so powerfully. So have a watch of that if this maybe would be something that you would want to read. I actually do have the second book as well. I think it's called Sunflowers, something about sunflowers, which I've not read yet, but it is also on my to read pile. So let me know if you've read any of these. I would actually love to see one of her shows. If she's ever touring again, I would definitely get a ticket for that. And the last book is Unexpected Joy of Being Single by Catherine Gray. And this, I think, should be recommended reading. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think it's a great read if you are really struggling with single sorrow, and like it says on the book, it really turns it into single joy. It helps you see the hope if you're just finding things really difficult, and being single can be very difficult. If you've just broken up with someone, if you've been single for a long time, if you've been in very bad relationships, it can be really, really hard. And I think this book can help shine a wee light and a sense of hope if you're in that place. I really think if you've got a friend who is struggling, this is the book. I really feel like she really helps you see the joy and positivity being single can have. And again, she just shows you that it's actually a very empowering time to be single, and it's such an important time of like self-awareness, of discovery, and that single time really can lay the groundwork for your sustainable relationships and positive relationships in the future. It's also got some really great tips on dating and dating in moderation, and I think if you're just getting overwhelmed by it or disheartened, disenchanted by it, then this would maybe give you like a fresh outlook on it as well. But this is the book, I think, out of all of them, I would recommend if I had a friend who was just getting really down and just in a total slump being single. This is the book. I think this should definitely be recommended reading. I think we should get handed this at school at some point. This is the one if you've got a single friend who just needs a fresh look on dating and a fresh look on just being single actually, and how that it's actually okay and it's a good thing and it's a very empowering thing and a joyful thing. So yeah, those were the 4 books that I've read on relationships or breakups, and I'm sure there's so many out there, but let me know any recommendations you have, because there's just gonna be tons, I know. So, and if we can like help each other by recommending different ones, that would be great. I actually just started a book club, so I'm very excited about that. The book that we're going to read is Conversation on Love, which I think will also be sort of relationships and things. I don't actually know that much about it. If you've read it, let me know what you thought about that one as well. But I'm excited because moving near to London has been tricky, you know. It's hard to make friends as you get older, so I've joined a book club to hopefully like meet some like-minded people who like talking about books, and it'd be really lovely to just be part of that community. This channel in my head would be amazing if it could be a bit of a community as well. So, you know, if you've got recommendations, please put them in the comments below. It'd be lovely to like have like chats about books on here too. I would love this to be like a safe space and like a kind place for people just to chat about books and like recommend books to each other. And if you like the idea of any of those books that I recommended, then I've got the full video on my channel as well on each of those books, so please watch those and let me know what you think. And thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.